Hello everybody, Sparkster1701 here again. It's time to do another Generation 1 Transformer review. And this is one that I've been looking forward to doing for quite some time now. We're going to take a look at the Generation 1 Autobot Warrior, Windcharger. Now, Windcharger was released in 1984. He was one of the first original Transformers. He would also be available in 1985. He would be discontinued in 1986, and while his function would be picked up by several other Autobots, I think the most closely associated one, at least at his price point, to be his replacement, would have been Pipes. Windcharger was one of the original Autobots. He's the fastest one modified by the Ark to cover short distances, so that puts him somewhat in competition with Cliffjumper as the fastest land Autobot, at least for the guys of this size. Now, the biggest thing that we also have to deal with on Windcharger is that he has a short attention span. The More Than Meets the Eye guidebooks almost describe him as having a Cybertronian version of ADHD. He gets excited and enthusiastic about things early on, but then grows impatient about things and slowly loses interest. Windcharger, as you also might remember in the media, was killed in the Battle of Autobot City that was played off in the 1986 Transformers the movie. Windcharger's body was seen next to Wheeljack's and was shown to us by RC. Let's take a look at Windcharger's articulation, and he had a fairly decent amount for a 1984 mini vehicle. His shoulders can be shifted from being straight to down about to that angle. When the arms are straight, he can rotate his arm up about so far due to the fact it rubs against the car top on the bottom, and he can bring it down. Let's see if he can stretch it out a little bit. Nope. Get it out far enough, it actually can go 360 degrees, folks. And while he doesn't have a joint at the hip, he can bend his knees a little bit. But he really can't stay in that position, so not much you can do with that. But at least he does have some posability, so that's a nice feature. Now let's transform Windcharger, and as he's a mini vehicle, it's pretty simple. The first thing you'll want to do is get his arms lifted up so they are fully straight. And you'll raise them so they're pointing vertically, straight down, and then push them into the sides. And then you will fold up his lower legs, and there you have it. Windcharger is a red Trans Am. Red Pontiac Trans Am. Rather sweet looking little car. This is probably part of what helped make him very popular amongst a lot of the kids back then, due to the fact that the Trans Am was a very popular sporty car. Now, Windcharger does have a slight variation available. I'm not exactly sure how you tell it, but according to the Transformer Collector book by Mark Bellomo, Windcharger was available in a slightly different shade of red. But I will point out that there is also a more recent variation that is kind of fun if you're willing to look for it. It comes in the form of a special keychain set, like this one here that I have of Cliffjumper. Sometime after the year 2000, some company released the original mini vehicles. That would be Brawn, Bumblebee, Cliffjumper, Gears, Huffer, and Windcharger here as keychains. A fully transformable keychain. Now, what's interesting about that is that this was done as a keychain. They did do a variation of them that are in black. So, for those of you that are fans of certain other black Trans Ams, like Smokey and the Bandit, or Knight Rider, you could almost say that Windcharger could double as them if you could find the black variant keychain. Let your imagination ride, folks. I forgot to mention, before I got all the trivia out, let's quickly change him over here. Let you guys all see how Windcharger rolls on the table here. As you can see, rolls very, very good there. Unlike most of his buddies, Windcharger has plastic wheels. Not unlike Cliffjumper and Bumblebee, who were fortunate enough to get little rubber tires. He gets plastic ones, but they roll very, very good on that table. Now, moving right along, we've got Windcharger's card backer. Actually, I have two of them. The first one here that you'll see, this is the original 1984 issued card backer. And then to go alongside it, I have the 1985 card backer. Whereas you can see, the major difference is they changed the position of how he's standing in the picture, but also in 85 they added the car. What you wouldn't realize, or you probably do if you see the shape of the tear-outs, is that in 1984 he was packaged in car mode, and in 1985 he was packaged in robot mode. That becomes even more evident when we turn them around and you see the instructions. You can see over here they start it in car mode and go to robot, and they do it backwards on the 85 version. And of course, here on the 1984 one, all else that you get is the mural picture. And down here you've got the half a point that he was worth, and you have his tech specs. The 1985 keeps everything out down here at the bottom the same. Previous owners stole the barcode, heaven knows why. But up here you have the 85 mural highlighting the Dinobots. And of course the instructions for the rub sign that is not present on this Windcharger due to him being the 84 version. Anywho, let's take a look at his tech spec. It's got a nice picture of Windcharger, matches the one here on the front of the package. It's done up in red to show he's an Autobot, and even says Autobot above him. It gives his name as Windcharger, and his function is Warrior. His motto is, quick action equals quick victory. Windcharger is the fastest Autobot over short distances. Good in situations requiring fast, decisive action. Enthusiastic but impatient. Short attention span. Casts powerful magnetic field which can attract or repel large metal objects. Smashes them at closer distances. These abilities use up tremendous energy. Often burns himself out due to carelessness. Alright, let's take a look by putting the decoder over here and take a look at his stats. It gives his strength as 4, his intelligence is 6, his speed is 8, his endurance is 4, his rank is 5, his courage is 9, his firepower is 7, and his skill is 6. So, not too bad considering, but he does come off more or less being about average at best. Now we get down to my thoughts. What do I think of Windcharger? I think Windcharger was a rather underutilized character in a lot of the media, especially the 1980s cartoon, as they really didn't show off much of Windcharger's abilities. He certainly didn't get to use his special magnet ability a lot, if at all, to my knowledge, and they really didn't play off his short attention span. Probably due to the fact they didn't want us kids getting involved in something that could be potentially dangerous and all of a sudden get distracted and probably hurt ourselves. But of course, we were young and dumber back then. We were saving dying for a rainy day. But getting back to the point, I think Windcharger was underutilized. I think that the writers of the More Than Meets the Eye guide try to write off his short attention span a little too quickly as being a Transformer version of ADHD. Because I know that's a sensitive subject amongst some people, and again with various parental and children's groups, so we aren't going to touch base a lot on it here. But I think it is something that if that is the case, then maybe some decently written comics would help further expand it and probably give children who are like that somebody to look up to. As we all know, the various children need good people to look up to, and a heroic character like Windcharger, who also has a similar disability to them, would make a great hero character to look up to. While he's not the awesomeness of Optimus Prime or many of the other larger Autobots, nor does he have as much fame or recognition as Bumblebee, but he does have potential, and I think it was wasted in the cartoon, as he would only really appear in the 1984 Season 1, would effectively not show up a lot in 1985, only to appear briefly in the movie as a corpse. So definitely underutilized. As a toy, he's definitely in the middle tier characters. He's not one that you desperately need, but he does have his unique ability to magnetize and either bring close or throw away his opponents, despite the fact that he can overdo it. And he becomes a Trans Am. What's not to love, other than the fact that there's just not much delved into on him? And that concludes my review of the Generation 1 1984 Autobot Warrior Windcharger. If you like this video, thumbs up it here on YouTube. Hit the subscribe button down below and join our loyal fan base. And please also consider liking this video and share your thoughts of Windcharger in the comments section down below. This is Sparkster1701 reminding all of you that next week starts October, and just like last year, that means it's Pretender Month. I've got 4 pretenders lined up. They're all Decepticons, and they all have one other thing in common, and you're going to have to wait and see what that is. It's not anything earth-shattering, but it is kind of silly. So this is Sparkster1701 saying catch you all later.